Time management tips. Where do you spend your time? A key to making improvements to your time management competencies is to discover how you are expending your time. It's easy to utilize your PDA or PC for this. Simply set up a time log. Choose wisely. The type, importance, effectiveness, and efficiency fields are picked out from pop-up lists which have the accompanying values. Sort. Family, personal, business, other importance. 1. Vital and urgent. 2. Important, now not pressing. 3. Not enormous, however urgent. 4. Not essential, not pressing. Effectiveness. 100%, 90%, 80%, 70%, 60%, 50% or much less. Efficiency. 100%, 90%, 80%, 70%, 60%, 50%, or much less. The first time I applied a time log, a few years in the past, I changed into really taken aback at how a good deal time I was squandering. To really get cost out of it, you ought to utilize it for at least 3 normal days, now not weekend days. Then you ought to observe it to peer wherein you are spending time ineffectively. A specific beneficial log that you are able to music in a database on your Pocket PC Palm is one that seizes rework actions. Such movements are those which you need to redo something on. An easy example is that you formulate a set of demonstrations after which one to remodel it to deal with your boss's remarks. To get cost out of this sort of log, you ought to make use of it for as a minimum 3 weeks. Once in a while rework would not pop out till more than 1 week after the initial action. You are capable of gather a lot of efficiency through confronting those areas wherein you've the maximum remodel. Once you need to select among many obligations, there are a variety of prioritization equipment you're able to make use of. If you are in a rut together with your prioritization approach, attempting out one-of-a-kind techniques would possibly yield the one. This is accurate for you. Note that it is normally typical that 20% of your moves will account for 80% of your achievement, the Pareto principle. Therefore, if you've 100 tasks in your job listing, possibly approximately 20 of those may be the key ones to middle on. Therefore, something prioritization method you utilize, you have to ensure it helps you pinpoint these obligations. Stephen Covey names a excessive degree prioritization scheme in his ebook The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. In that scheme, jobs are categorized by using 4 quadrants: chi, vital and pressing qii, crucial but not urgent qiii, not enormous however pressing qiv, not sizable and no longer pressing. Dr. Covey mentions that tremendously effective individuals find time for the QII actions, and that doing so may also reduce the time spent in more quadrants. Though QIV prioritization doesn't assist you pick which interest to accomplish first and which to accomplish second, and so forth, it may be actually informative to discover which quadrants your duties are in. The ABC method. I first became cognizant of this method once I applied a paper-based Franklin planner. It ranks duties into 3 classes. A equals crucial, B equals full-size, C equals excellent. Then it subdivides tasks in these lessons into A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, and so on. Notice that the A, B, C categories have an above-board correspondence to quadrants I, II, and III mentioned in Covey's ebook. Many people discover this prioritization approach to be truly useful. While the standard Pocket PC and Palm task listing utility doesn't help those precise priorities, there are some definitely properly third birthday celebration programs that do. For instance, Pocket Informant and Agenda Fusion for the Pocket PC aid prioritization and impart some of extra treasured talents. If you make use of Microsoft Outlook, you're probably already aware that it has 3 precedence settings for a job: high, normal, low. These clearly correspond without delay to the A, B, C precedences. Pocket Outlook on. Pocket PCs and smartphones make use of the same precedence strategy as Outlook. The pay returned versus time technique. With this technique, you weight each assignment by using the payback you expect from it versus the time it takes to perform it. Tasks that have expanded pay returned in that require little time are those you'd accomplish first. Correspondingly, jobs which have low pay back in that take a lot time are ones you'll accomplish final or never. Occasionally priorities alternate. We've all had to juggle jobs. On balance, although, we must make certain our priorities are ordered with our non-public desires and the desires of our organizations. Doing this calls for a periodic critique, and a weekly planning sitting is paragon for this. Likewise, while the message has been out for a long term that agencies have to in reality speak their dreams and priorities, enquiry continues to illustrate that plenty of organizations aren't extraordinary at this. Therefore, you would possibly want to take some time to differentiate the dreams and priorities of your business enterprise, to guarantee your priorities are consistent with those. Lastly, to accent what changed into remarked earlier, you need to take complete benefit of the Pareto principle. Chapter 2. Managing tasks. While I've aimed this cloth at smartphone, pocket PC, and Palm customers, the precepts can be carried out to computer, laptop PC structure and to paper primarily based planning schemes. In early 2001, I studied David Allen's Getting Things Done, GTD, ebook and without delay started out imposing GTD on my Palm. I favored its stimulated method. Then GTD have become a first-rate tool for supporting me cope with all of the stuff in my existence. It let me accomplish this without calling for superb attention. I've due to the fact blended a number of the FC and GTD methodologies. GTD allows me get a lot executed, and FC enables my effectiveness. What you need to know: key principles 1. Essential studying from GTD. Run through all your tasks and verify next movements for them and arrange them by context of use, like at PC, at home, at desk, so that after your intellectual strength is just too low if you want to have an powerful thoughts, you've got a listing of moves you're able to perform anyhow. This smooth precept may additionally dramatically higher your performance and your impact. Orchestrating by context uses. The age-old wiseness of and quat, be where you are, and quat. 2. Design for each day what you need to get accomplished. The significance of doing this may be overemphasized. I've worked closely with dozens of senior and mid-stage humans over time, and apprehend that they contrive their days and their weeks. Yes, numerous them suffer the large inflow of emails, new paintings, and too many meetings that a common cell employee suffers. But they do not permit that dissuade them from their plans, with the exclusion, certainly, of a few uncommon rising sports. 3. Utilize the Pareto principle. Whenever you middle your attention at the movements that rank within the pinnacle 20% in terms of importance, you will have an 80% payoff on your attempt. If your to-do list has 10 gadgets on it, the 2 most crucial ones will provide you with an 80% go back on your time. Arranging a minesweep you can't thoroughly manipulate your jobs in case you don't have they all named. It does no properly to have a listing of 50 tasks when 100 others are floating round in your brain and breaking your awareness, specifically, while a number of the ones 100 are more crucial than the 50 which can be written down. So, a key to powerful assignment control is to write all your obligations down and location them into your Making plans system, PDA, PC, or paper primarily based. The greatest manner I know of to accomplish this is with a mind sweep. Utilizing a pill, or PC, or PDA, put down the whole thing that springs to thoughts. It may additionally take you a couple of hours to do this satisfactorily. However, you will be astonished at what number of things you may put down which are jobs, or initiatives, that were not in your making plan scheme. You need to do that periodically. You'll need to go through your inboxes, bodily and digital, home and paintings, to guarantee you got all moves and region them into your device. When you combo this material with what you purchased from your Minesweep, you must have a brilliant list of the whole thing you need to accomplish. Keeping it chunk-sized, following actions, limit every chore to a solitary pastime, the only you have to accomplish subsequent to make development on an mission. Prior to GTD, a common motion object in my chore list may additionally had been formulate home budget. I'd delightedly on it as I diagnosed. Those 3 words represented a lot work. That and quat, chore and quat, wasn't actual a chore in any respect, but a project comprising numerous responsibilities. So, I'd put it off, time and time again. But nowadays, the beginning single-step movement object for this venture can be critique costs for the past 2 months. That's a particular interest that my brain knows I may additionally accomplish in a fairly quick term, so there isn't as a good deal of an inclination to place it off. Managing contexts. If you've never altered the kinds to your Palm's to-do list or Pocket PC tasks list, you may possibly determine that there aren't many and that they are quite widespread. While the inventory classes deliver a plausible manner to categorize projects, customizing the categories will help you satisfactorily control your tasks. You ought to continually do not forget how you're capable of customize the kinds to paintings better for you. For instance, you in all likelihood wouldn't need my at-couch elegance. However, I applied it as some of my at-home duties are ones I'll do. Handiest if sitting on my sofa, like Minesweep, you are capable of set those instructions up directly on your Pocket PC or Palm. However, it's first rate to go into Outlook and utilize its master category device to arrange the kinds. While you are arranging your clean classes, you could want to delete several of the present master categories which can be built into Outlook, as a variety of them are in all likelihood to not be precious to you. Prioritizing. Quit prioritizing duties and begin factoring in your instinct while you make alternatives on what to paintings at subsequent. Considering time to be had, strength kingdom, context and many others. Individuals who implement the A, B, C precedence structures for their tasks fall below the entice of operating at handiest. The A and B factors, letting additional items fade for long periods, even for jobs that can be achieved in a matter of minutes of arc. A few obligations are intrinsically more crucial than others, and also you don't wish to get into a spot in which the extra crucial work is consistently held hostage to the less difficult and less vital paintings. So what do? One method of prioritizing at the same time is nonetheless using GTD is to have a center class. When I utilized it, I'd generally assign 6 or so jobs to this class in the course of my weekly planning consultation. It would not matter if they're ones that I'd do at computer or at office or at home, they had get assigned to this magnificence. The tasks I'd assign to this magnificence might be ones I truly, in reality desire to have carried out by way of the cease of the subsequent week. A one-of-a-kind place wherein I deviate from and quat, pure GTD and quat, is in the utilization of assigning dates to a few responsibilities. For example, if I've a crucial meeting for next Thursday, I delegate myself a challenge of an quat, guidance for Thursday meeting and quat, and supply it a begin date of Tuesday and an finish date of Wednesday, in order that if I do not get to it on Tuesday, ascribable to emergent tasks, then I nevertheless have Wednesday to do the practice. I might have many such obligations in a common week. I personally like to have an agenda view on my smartphone and pocket PCs, and Palm, which indicates the day's appointments and chores. Utilizing the 2-minute rule. The 2-minute rule has been as beneficial to me as any time control construct I've stumbled upon within the past 30 years of my business life. The 2-minute rule is this: if you've an activity that may be carried out in 2 minutes or much less, accomplish it. For instance, in case you've an item to your in container that states, call Billy Bob, approximately condition of the deal, accomplish it. Why place an item in your inbox or tasks listing while you are able to sincerely plow beforehand and accomplish it almost as fast? Although profoundly smooth, this is one element I find I should paintings at from time to time. Chapter 3. Planning. Weekly making plans is a vital pastime that must be a habit for each commercial enterprise pro. Disregarding it might cost you inside the lengthy time period, or even inside the short time period. Plan it. I've a habitual Friday appointment with myself for arranging my weekly planning. Arranging it on a Friday provides me an opportunity to do something I may have disregarded in the course of the week. I've found that it helps me to have peace and quiet, close workplace door. However, you might like a little background song. For mobile workers, if you travel a superb deal, you'll probably desire to have your planning fabric with you. You are able to normally hold it all for your PDA or paper planner or mixture of both. I've occasionally completed a high-quality part of my weekly planning at the same time as on an plane flight back domestic, using a weekly planning tick list on my pocket PC to lead me. May additionally do with a Palm tool. Additionally, before you do any literal making plans, it's essential to do a complete evaluate of the week to see in case you've ignored anything. This critique would consist of going through all of your inboxes, bodily besides electronic, to view memos, notes to yourself, which include yellow stickies, and anything where you have placed data that you need to do something with. If you do not keep your email inbox empty, I'm guilty in this one, you may desire to view all the email that came in throughout the week to assure you haven't forgotten to flag any you have activity on. I likewise want to go through my task list to determine if there are any jobs I supposed to finish however did not. I likewise take a look at to peer if I need to reword any of the jobs to make certain they may be in reality motion-orientated. After executing the recap, it's time to get into studying every active project to assure that you identify a following pastime for every one. This is also an extraordinary time to countercheck that you've described a clean successful result for every task. This have to be followed with the aid of viewing every a year someday and possibly items to see if there are any that have to come to be active projects, or may be worn out. The weekly making plans session is likewise a fantabulous time to recap your challenge and also your dreams, to peer if you're heading in the right direction with them and to take action if now not. After I've completed this, I recap, drawing close appointments to see if there are any meetings or closing dates I demand to put together for. Note that it's a top-notch practice to exhibit challenge closing dates to your calendar. The way I like to perform this is with an all-day appointment. The last steps in the manner are to differentiate focus items and to consider scheduling time for the maximum important jobs. You should likewise consider allowing time to paintings on precise initiatives or to perform unique sorts of paintings, like at computer obligations. Ordered and thorough weekly making plans might also assist placed you and maintain you on top of your game. Chapter 4. Goals. Here are a couple suggestions on aim putting that I've observed out over the years. I've only blanketed the topics that I've located from enjoy that have labored for me. Go for it. The affiliation of intention setting to time management is pretty above board. If you don't set and reach for desires, you are going to work at stuff that doesn't serve you, thereby languishing a while. Naturally, all of us paintings at stuff that does not assist us once in a while. However, people who've no dreams do an awful lot more of it. Among the maximum sensible matters I've ever heard about desires is that simply the act of putting a intention presents you a sparkling lens to view existence through, and that this fresh lens will help you in undertaking the purpose. You'll find out opportunities that you'd in no way have stumbled upon in any other case. Individuals of various professions could view the identical crowd of people. However, an optometrist would likely extra be aware the individuals within the crowd who were wearing glasses than would the roadbacker who'd possibly greater notice the folks who had been athletically constructed. When you put a aim, you will start seeing chances to make it arise. Getting moving. One on-hand way of manufacturing your listing of goals is to fill inside the blanks beneath the subsequent classes. What you want to be, what you want to accomplish, what you want to have, what you desire to give, what you don't wish to be, accomplish, have, and give. While you are brainstorming in those instructions, you may need to make certain you don't forget subcategories of issue to you. Ones that individuals frequently make use of are personal, loved ones, spiritual, professional, fiscal. This is actually a proposed list to get you wondering. The brainstorming method. When you are brainstorming what to perform, be, have, provide, reflect on consideration on what you'll do if you had no restrictions. For instance, what if profits in fitness were not obstructions for you? Likewise, consider the people you like and what its miles that they have got, accomplish, and or which you desire to emulate. You might also even desire to ask one of these individuals to be your mentor, to help you think via these fields, at any fee. Partly, and to inform you what she has observed to be powerful for them. You'll want to offer yourself a peaceful environment so you are able to absolutely brainstorm. And you do need to brainstorm, which implies you write all of it down, and also you forged aside nothing, regardless how laughable it appears. When you try to mix brainstorming and practicality, you always lose the benefit of brainstorming. You'll get time later to be pragmatic together with your list. Sometime. For the duration of this brainstorming drill, you have to envision your funeral. What might be said about you if it was held now, and how does that disagree from what you actually want to be stated about you? Did you depart your family with an economic scenario that you clearly wish them to have? From my personal experience, I ought to unhappily propose which you likewise envision the funeral of your dearest own family. You might assume you are being as excellent to your family as you are able to be, but I promise you that you may wish you had completed some distance extra for them if you lose one among them. When you've brainstormed your list of goals, which you would possibly want to do over the direction of some days or perhaps weeks, then you definitely are capable of comb out the ones that just don't add up. One manner of lowering the listing is to ask, why do I wish this, and what desirable will it genuinely do? When you find out a purpose that doesn't have a splendid answer to this question, you've located a goal you're capable of toss. Likewise, you need to keep in mind how to prioritize your desires, at any price, to the point of which ones you wish to work at first. You are capable of prioritize them by means of vicinity, personal, cherished ones, spiritual, professional, financial, so forth, with every location having a priority 1 and a 2 and ... Or, you are capable of prioritize them definitely, without regard for subject, as 1 via 109, or whatever. Note that priorities are probably to shift as your lifestyle situations shift. Then, it's time to knuckle down to show the list into pastime steps. Choose which dreams are to be lengthy run dreams and that are to be short run and which fall someplace in among. Then, starting together with your brief run desires, envision what it's going to take with a view to gain the aim. This will help you in breaking the intention down to steps. Naturally, you likewise should set closing dates for each of these goals and steps. If any of your goals turn to making a shift of habit, you should observe that many researchers have determined that it calls for about 21 days to shift a habit. You'll need to factor this into your planning. Likewise, while transferring a habit, you'll require discovering approaches to give yourself favorable reinforcement for making alterations. Lastly, you ought to have your key dreams in front of you on a constant basis. You should view them as a minimum weekly to peer to at your making development and to see if you have to exchange your plans in. Besides, as a Waze is software for desires, I've been informed that Target Assistant for the Palm platform is ideal, however haven't attempted it out. Personally, I'm no longer genuinely eager on making use of a PDA for purpose setting, as I consider you have to utilize something that freeze and quat your wandering manner, like mind mapping or blank portions of paper or whatever you feel enables to open your creativity. A PDA is ideal for carrying around a report that has your settled goals in it, a Word file or a spreadsheet, for instance. However, it is probable no longer the great aspect for aim formulation. If you require more help with dreams than became supplied above, there are numerous books on intention setting which you may want to reflect on consideration on. If you've got attempted difficult at purpose placing formerly and just have not done well with it, you might even desire to remember taking a seminar. Chapter 5. Tips. From the gurus Jack Welch, Warren Buffett, and numerous other greats have portioned out some of their insights with the world through some in their writings and interviews. I concept it might be a first rate to share some of these insights here. As with a variety of subjects that I've found out over time, I wish I had studied a number of those insights earlier, or that I had paid interest to them in advance. I surely wish you nicely in training them in your very own life. For now I merely spotlight more than one insights. All the equal, I don't forget the accompanying insights to be of such extensive ability fee to each person, that I wanted to move beforehand and share them without waiting to build a bigger listing. Advise from the big dogs Welches and Quat. 6. Commandments and Quat. Command your fate, or anyone else will confront reality as it isn't as it turned into, or however you want it to be. Be blunt with all of us. Shift earlier than you want to. Don't control. Lead if you do no longer have a competitory benefit. Do not compete. Warren Buffett's funding in a nutshell. Formulas. Formula 1. Do not lose money. Formula 2. Do now not blank out. Formulation 1. Wayne Gretzky, an excellent ice hockey player, performs wherein the page circa is a wonderful ice hockey participant performs wherein the percent is going to be Einstein. And character who in no way made an errors, never attempted something new. Everything need to be made as clean as viable, but not simpler. Insanity. Doing the identical be counted again and again and anticipating unique effects. No problem may be solved from the equal degree of focus that produced it. Peter Drucker. Efficiency is doing things effectively. Effectiveness is doing the ideal matters. Unless willpower is made, there are only guarantees and goals, however no plans. Lou Holtz. The mental mindset you pick to assume closer to lifestyles and the entirety it brings you will decide whether or not you understand your goals. What you're capable of undertaking is determined with the aid of your talent and ability. What you try to do is decided by your motivation. How properly you do something is determined through your mental mindset. Discipline is not what you do to yourself, it is what you do for yourself. Before selecting out in motion, ask yourself, and quote, will this boost my opinion of myself? And quote, if it does not, or trying to find an opportunity to be able to. Steve Jobs. When I become 17, I read a quotation that went something like, end quote, if you live each day a door it became your closing, one day you'll most truly be correct. This made an impression on me, and considering then I've looked in the replicate every morning and requested myself, end quote, if today have been the final day of my existence, could I want to do what I'm about to do nowadays? End quote. And if the answer has been end quote, no end quote, for too many times in a row, I recognize I ought to shift something. Wrapping up, overcoming, placing things off, and making right use of some time can also take a few field, a phrase that moves fear within the hearts of many human beings, inclusive of me. However, I can typically get the fear to reduce, once I work on it, via centering on a quote about field. End quote. Discipline isn't what you do to yourself, it's far what you do for yourself. End quote. And, speaking of doing something for yourself, don't forget to provide yourself a reward when you do make development on overcoming, setting things off, and making desirable use of your time. Reinforcing effective behaviors facilitates flip them into conduct.